Well, obviously in grand opera, the music and the story are probably the two most important elements, but right up there with them is the look, the scenic design of the opera. And next up, we're going to take a behind-the-scenes look at how the set designers and technicians of Opera Philadelphia have created a look for this production that Giuseppe Verdi himself might have recognized.
I'm Thaddeus Strasburger. I'm the stage director and scenic designer for this production of Nabucco. I'm basically responsible for all of the acting on stage and putting together all of the physical movements of the people, as well as designing all of the scenery that you see, all the painted scenery, the props, basically anything that ends up on stage that's not a costume, I'm responsible for. The scenic design for this is really personal to me. I wanted to really sort of explore the experience that I had working with my colleagues there at La Scala with Italian-style scene painting. And in many ways it's viewed as old-fashioned now to sort of paint columns as opposed to having three-dimensional sculptural scenery, all wood and steel and everything. But there was something about sort of going back to the artifice of that world that I found really exciting. So oftentimes I go to a museum and you hear the tour guides saying, look at this very large canvas and it's 15 feet by 20 feet. And I'm thinking, well, we do things that are 10 times bigger on stage all the time. The largest one in the show I think is about 72 feet wide by about 40 feet tall. Everything is painted standing up. The canvas is on the floor, and they have brushes that they make themselves on bamboo sticks that they're able to paint, so you get these sort of long gestures. But it's a real art in interpreting what's a very small detail into just the flick of the wrist that can sort of give a rhythm and a flow and a life and an energy to the scene painting when it's done. Lighting is really interesting because you think about illuminating something by getting light on it, but I think in theater it's oftentimes as much as what you don't see as what you do see. But with the lighting you can really concentrate people's attention in one place, or that you can sort of expand it out and you can really sort of have this sort of living, breathing quality to it, because lighting isn't just about color and location, but it's also about how it moves in time. A costume designer isn't just responsible for the clothes, but they're responsible for helping the singers create a character. How do you go from walking in off the street, getting off an airplane, jumping out of a taxi, to being the princess of Babylon? Or how do you become a Hebrew slave? Or how do you, all of these things we sort of slowly transform through creating character in the clothing. In this particular opera, we were very lucky. We had actual historical information about what the original costumes looked like. But more than the costumes, Maddie Ulrich, the costume designer, works together with me with the whole storytelling. How do we sort of communicate visually very quickly who's part of which part in the plot? Who's a Hebrew and who's a Babylonian, and is it important to know the difference, or is it important to see the similarities?